That's the preliminary exercise where I mix the selected color, in this case Ultramarine Light, with the other colors in Mijello's Mission Gold Pure Pigment Watercolor Set. From that sheet, I chose 12 mixes to include in this video session. Hi, I'm Irene, this is Inkworks, and I'm a little out of sorts. It's been hot here in the Pacific Northwest, like 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit hot. I'm still recovering from a recent day trip to Oregon without working AC in the car, but that's a story for another time. This is I want to say it's the 21st spread in this journal, but I'm not so confident in my math these days. You know, I used to be pretty good at it. Straight A's all the way up to my high school sophomore year. Whereas 9th grade algebra was no sweat, 10th grade geometry threw me for a loop. But I totally blame the teacher for that. I'm not saying a high school football coach can't also be a math teacher. I am saying mine was a terrible math teacher. Being stuck in the back of the room, surrounded by talkers and unable to hear the lessons, what sort of teacher allows that? Maybe I should give him some slack, though, since he was extremely busy flirting with the cheerleaders in the front row. In the end, I squeaked by with a C grade, but my interest in mathematics had died a neglectful and unnecessary death. If I sound bitter, it's because I am. While Mission Gold watercolors are not known for high levels of granulation, PB29, usually referred to as French ultramarine or simply ultramarine, is a popular granulating pigment, and there is noticeable granulation in the swatch and mixes here. I understand, back in the day, ultramarine was extracted from actual lapis lazuli stone. Well, that would be quite expensive now, so the synthetic version, PB29, replaced it. The mixing portion of this session is 10 minutes of unedited footage at double speed. Not because I'm lazy, but rather it would have felt very herky-jerky if I'd removed every brief pause, especially since I wanted to show the mixing action on the ceramic palette. So I let this part run uncut. The video editing happens in a closet. Literally. The Inkworks studio is a small 10 by 10 room, so my brothers turned its closet into Command Central by installing a fabulous solid wood desktop and mounting a couple of monitors. Well, one is a monitor, the other is a TV that I use as a monitor. That all happened several years ago. The desk's dimensions are approximately 6 feet wide and a little more than 2 feet deep. There's even a hole at the back for cords. It's so sturdy, I love it. A couple of weeks ago, I posted an image of it on my Blue Sky account because the space had undergone a thorough cleaning and organizing. Oh, I'm no neatnik, but since one of my brothers was kind enough to buy me a new computer to replace the one that conked out on me, the least I could do was clear the clutter. It worked out well because not only can I use Adobe Premiere Pro again, my stuff is now arranged better. I really like having my ink collection displayed where I can easily see it. I regret not going heavier on the yellow for those first mixes. I'm positive I could have gotten better greens, but on the whole, I'm pleased with the mixing results. The intensity alone is impressive, so I've got no complaints about saturation. Out of all those beautiful shades, though, I'm gravitating toward the second and third box on the top row. Permanent Yellow Deep PY65 and Autumn Orange PO36. Those two mixes are the most earthy on this page. They make me think of an antiquarian study filled with leather, parchment, and bones. Or November. Maybe it's because I really want summer to end already. I mean, as I melt here with my fan blowing full blast, I think I'd be happy with just fall, winter, and spring. Can we make that happen? By the way, every time my brother John does something nice for me, I remember that time I ran crying to Mom after falling off his bicycle. He'd been trying to teach me to ride, and all he got for his efforts was a lecture to be nice to your little sister. I almost feel bad about it. Memories. I'll forget if I took my daily supplements, yet recall a scene from a horror story, then wonder what movie it was from. If you'd seen the scene in question, you'd understand. The main characters investigate an abandoned house, and in one of the dimly lit rooms, you can barely see a spectral face and hand behind a cabinet door. Ugh. It haunted me for years. I finally remembered the movie, One Missed Call, the original Japanese version, not the remake, because for some strange reason, the remakers left out that moment. Fools. PB29, aka Ultramarine, is one of the most commonly used pigments in watercolors and is frequently included in starter color sets, such as Daniel Smith's Essential 6-color set, M. Graham's Basic 5-color set, and Winsor & Newton's 12-color Cotman Sketchers box, to name just a few. I think it's pretty clear that PB29 is a great mixing pigment, creating pretty purples, gorgeous greens, and attractive earth tones. So I watched the entire first season of MURDERBOT and enjoyed it. The characters, the humor, the humanity. To be fair, the initial draw for me was Alexander Skarsgård. He's easy on the eyes, yeah? I was expecting something dark and dour, and while there was a bit of darkness, there was also some humor. It's low-level humor, not low-brow humor. That's not what I'm talking about. No, I mean humor that's there but doesn't dominate the show. Some things were predictable. I mean, I expected the space hippies were going to grow on the main character, as well as myself. I did not predict, however, that the same main character would be a space opera fanboy. After watching the season finale, it took a while to process what happened. The pervasively sad tone took me aback. It left little room for the usual humor, but that last episode closed things in a way I found satisfying, while highlighting the series' interesting themes of personhood and self-determination. Yeah, good show. I recommend it. But can I just say, it's downright cruel to make viewers wait a whole week between each installment. Wait, when was my last video? Never mind. With this new computer, I notice there's now a summarize video option on YouTube content. I believe it's generated by Microsoft's AI Copilot. Well, I had to see what it was saying about my videos. You know what they say, keep your enemies close and all that. But what I saw made me blush, because a lot of it was undeserved, well-deserved flattery. If you're a YouTuber in need of a confidence boost, that summarize video button could become your best friend. Quote, ultimately, this video isn't just a demonstration, it's an invitation into Irene's philosophy that art is both spontaneous and sacred, technical yet tender. I had to laugh because if there were no such thing as AI, that stuff could only have been written by my biggest fan or an obsessed stalker. I'm assuming the summarized video thing is supposed to describe content in glowing terms. But further exploration revealed a disturbing combination of gushing PR speak and backhanded compliments. It started to irk me when it kept using words like imperfect, meandering, and unpolished. Sheesh, I get it. I make mistakes. Go back to the flattery already. Anyway, ego-stroking attention like that can be addictive, so I had to cut myself off cold turkey. Not sure if the phrase cold turkey is still used these days. It simply means quitting something immediately and completely, rather than cutting back over time. It's not a one-size-fits-all method, but depending on the substance in question, it can be an effective one. There was even a movie from the 1970s called Cold Turkey. It's been a while, but I think the premise was that a tobacco company pulls a marketing stunt by challenging an entire American town to quit smoking for a month, with the prize being many millions of dollars. Of course, the company doesn't expect to have to pay out, but they would gain a positive image for looking like good guys regardless. It was played for laughs, but it also had some social commentary bite. Producer Mike was off work today, so we drove north for Hans's sausage and a bag of dicks. Oh, it's not what it sounds like. Hans is a German deli, and Dick's is a local burger chain. Come on, guys. Do I have to explain this every time? So the Dick's, the burgers, really hit the spot. No fries or a shake this time. We'd already treated ourselves to Happy Donuts earlier this morning, so we were trying to have a frugal lunch. Interestingly, though, there's a pierogi located a few minutes from Dick's. So if we ever want to indulge in a full foodie Friday, we could chow down on Long John's for breakfast, snarf some Dick's for lunch, snack on a couple of meat buns, and save the sausages for evening. I do want to point out that a few days ago, I hit the Tesso Life and T&T stores. So you could say I went to both Europe and Asia this past week. Well, not technically, but rather mentally. And one could argue that's the "ally" that matters most. I wouldn't, because it's a pretty weak argument. I'm just throwing it out there. For the painting portion, I was recalling a project from the early days of Inkworks where I painted several paper doll outfits. Also, I was reminded of a new horror film called The Ugly Stepsister. I haven't seen it yet, but I watched the trailer and it looks gruesome. Anyway, princesses and elaborate gowns were on my mind. Looking at it now, it sort of has King of all cosmos energy. I could act all mysterious and say, if you know, you know, but I'm not that gal. King of all cosmos is a flamboyant character from the Japanese video game series Katamari Damacy. He's a godlike being who is highly disappointed in the size of his son's Katamari balls. Hope that helps. On the topic of outings, a couple of weeks ago, I'd popped into TJ Maxx looking for an insulated travel tumbler. As it was a specific mission, I made a beeline to the back of the store, past the clothing racks, while nearly knocking down an oblivious shopper or two. You know the ones. They block the aisles while examining an item, turning it every which way, saying, "Pretty sure I can wrangle 40% off for that minor defect there." Thankfully, I found what I needed and managed to leave the store without anyone getting hurt. While reviewing the receipt, everything looked correct and good, but I noticed the item description line only said entertaining. Entertaining? I get that their tumblers are placed in the housewares section where dinnerware is located. Cooking and serving dinner to guests is often referred to as entertaining. Hey, I've watched Martha Stewart, so I know the secret to an effective tablescape is to go simple yet elegant. But the only commonality with a travel tumbler is they all get washed with dish soap. Look, I've never considered dishwashing all that entertaining. Tedious? Often. Therapeutic? Occasionally. But entertaining? Never. Wait, I take that back. I have been entertained while watching producer Mike wash dishes. Dirty pots and pans on the stove drive him nuts. He'll take the time to wash them before sitting down to eat. Of course, by that time, the hot food has cooled and I've consumed half my meal. Because I won't wait. By the way, last evening's dinner was bacon, eggs, and blueberry pancakes. I've only been using a square pan for about a year, but now I'm kicking myself for not getting one earlier. It can handle 6 to 8 strips of bacon, or 4 to 5 pancakes at a time. I'm still more comfortable with cooking eggs in a smaller pan, but that might change. That sort of square pan is called a griddle. In the past, I could never remember if griddles had the ridged surface or the smooth one. I'm hoping, now that I'm actually using one, I'll remember, since I like to sing. They call me the griddler in the kitchen, sung to the tune of Dion's The Wanderer, of course. Run Around Sue is a catchier song in my opinion, but when I sing that one, I end up banging things and making too much noise until producer Mike rushes in all, "What's going on in here?" Just imagining I'm kissing everybody and breaking hearts. Why? Is that wrong? By the way, remember those blueberry pancakes I mentioned? The last time I made them, I'd mixed the berries into the batter and ended up with ultramarine pancakes, or ultramarine mixed with quinacridone violet pancakes. Not that there's anything wrong with purple batter, but I tried a different technique this time, adding the fruit after pouring the batter into the pan. I simply dropped 7 or 8 berries onto each raw mound. They were delicious, but next time I might try making a blueberry compote to spoon over regular pancakes. You might be wondering, Irene, did you buy the big bag of frozen blueberries from Costco again? Yes, I did. I'm happy to share this art session with you. Thanks so much for spending time with me here in the Inkworks studio. If you'd like to help fuel this content machine, please hit like and subscribe to this channel. To returning viewers, your continued support has my unabating gratitude. Until next time, remember, don't feel blue, eat blue, berry pancakes, and stay artsy, my friends.